I am Ruth-Ann Thorn, and I've been an art dealer for more than 2 decades, working with artists from all over the world. I've always wondered, do artists create from within, or are they influenced by their surroundings? And why do they choose where they live? What do they get from their environment? If they were to live somewhere else, would their art be different? These are the questions we will answer as we explore cities across the country in Art of the City. New Orleans is a magical place, and we're heading into kind of a swampy area where this artist, Magwire, Molly Mcguire, lives. So it should be a really exciting time for us to meet her and see where she lives out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so I grew up like in southern Ontario, small towns just east of Toronto. My parents moved around a lot. They met at art college. So there was always art supplies all over the house. So, I grew up in these small towns that were, there wasn't a lot going on. And my salvation was the fact that there was a carnival that would set up behind my house in Trenton every year. Every summer, this carnival would show up. And I started visiting the carnies when they were setting up, when they were breaking down, and while they were running the show, and they got to know me, and they got to, they let me ride the rides for free. They let me know, they showed me how to win at all the games. And it was just such an enchanting time of my life, and it was the first time in my life I really felt like I fit in somewhere. My other salvation was knowing that I was going to go to art school, because my parents were both artists. There was never a moment where I wasn't an artist.
Right.
So I suffered through high school just knowing that when I get out, I'm just going to be able to draw and paint all day. So, and then something really weird happened. My mom was married to this uncreative guy who was, a successful person, but just didn't really see eye to eye with us being artists or going to art school.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I was denied the ability to take out a student loan to go to art school. I was devastated because I had been building up my entire life to get to this moment, and then it was taken away from me. So I just ran away with the proverbial circus that was my rock band.
Do you have any stories that you can tell, like life on the road? So here you are, you're this gypsy musician, artist, making paper mache.
Yeah, well,
puppets.
I did that for years. We ended up in LA, played in rock bands in LA for years and years, toured the world, Europe and the US pretty much.
Okay.
For another 7 years, and then all of a sudden I was just kind of done with that. Honestly, my true love was painting. I really just want to paint. I really just want to paint. So, and at the time I was working in, for money, I was painting movie sets. So I was doing a lot of scenic painting in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I started salvaging all of the materials that they would throw out. After when a movie wraps, they throw everything away. They throw away all these paint brushes, canvas drop cloth. So I started salvaging it. And I just started making my own art out of it. And just by the sheer materials involved, it very quickly morphed into circus banners. When I decided to kind of start making my way back to New Orleans, I sold everything I owned, packed everything into my van, and started traveling across the country. But I started, when I got tired driving, I would get out and assemble my easel, which was basically 2 2x4s with a piece of plywood, and I would just, set up on a desert road somewhere and paint circus banners on the side of the highway. And I would just do that. It just felt really good. I didn't know what I was doing. It was such a midlife crisis, but it was just something about painting the circus banners made me feel like everything was going to be okay. It was just, there was that comfort. I basically sold enough circus banners to finance my way back to New Orleans.
Why New Orleans? What is it about this place?
It's got everything. It's got music, food, festivals, costumes, the history, Storyville, jazz, the devil's music. It's got swamps, like in the middle of the city. It's below sea level. It's one of the few places I've ever been where you really feel like you're actually in the moment. Mardi Gras in New Orleans, which is it's Fat Tuesday, the day before Lent. So, Lent is when you fast. You're doing your abstinence for whatever reason you're trying to be good. So the lead up to that has been completely blown out of proportion. Which, New Orleans, of course, they love to blow things out of proportion. So Carnival starts on King's Day, and that's when the King of Rex proclaims Mardi Gras, or proclaims that Carnival has started.
Okay.
So, and then everybody can be,
they have a ceremony.
Default into full debauchery, yes. And there's a big ceremony, there's a parade, and there's bands.
And let the drinking begin.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Let City Hall just drop everything you're doing and party.
When I come here, every time I've been to New Orleans, I feel like all of your senses are just elevated.
Yes.
Because you're seeing the architecture, you're seeing color, and people are having so much fun here. It's almost like they walk into this space where they leave all their troubles behind.
Whatever you were bringing in, just whatever chip on your shoulder,
leave it at the door.
It's just gone as soon
agree.
as you land in New Orleans, and there's just something about it.
My last question is, do you ever feel any magic coming through when you've got all these magical symbols and you're kind of in a way channeling some, very heavy thoughts from cultures from all over the world?
I try to just go with my instincts on that sort of thing. I haven't really. Somebody asked me recently. They were like, "Do you read tarot?" And I was like, "No, I'm art department. I'm just art department. I'm the person who just."
That's great.
Always the magical moment at a carnival for me was when you were looking at all the banners. And your mind was going crazy, and you're looking at the honky-tonk lights, you're smelling the hot dogs, and you're just looking at these banners that are portraying all of this incredible stuff that may or may not be the case once you go inside the tent. You know what I mean? So, but that's the moment, that's the pinnacle moment that I'm trying to encapsulate whenever I paint.
New Orleans is a magical city, and we just met a magical artist, Magwire. She's a gypsy princess. She's been all over the world with her music and now landed back here in her home of New Orleans, and she is giving this beautiful story of tarot and magic and everything that comes from New Orleans back to the world through her art.